May I request Kavita to show our appreciation to the Honorable Chief Minister for being with us today by presenting a memento. May I request Malvika, President-elect, to present the green certificate to our Honorable Chief Guest. We plant trees in your name in the Sariska Tiger Reserve, Alwar, Rajasthan.
The Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi there after a marathon session at FICCI Ladies Organization. And let me quickly come across and go across to Nalini Singh. Nalini, there's a huge debate that's raging online whether Narendra Modi actually gave an inspirational speech. He spoke about women empowerment and several examples from Gujarat. Or was he stereotypical, talking about women going for a sari sale or burning their fingers while making a roti?
Good afternoon.
What is your biggest takeaway from what Narendra Modi said?
Well, first of all, I feel that there was a deliberate attempt at image makeover, and after a very long time, I have heard him use the emollient of sympathy. I mean, there was simpatico apropos the audience that he was addressing. The second thing I think is that he did use illustrations that were the lowest common multiple. So that means that people understood, was it a deliberate attempt to go away from his big industry friendly image down to the level where this audience would not have related to that, to the Jasubens of Lijjat Papad, etc. But was this again, was he harvesting sympathy amongst, don't forget, the 49% women voters who have actually voted almost in a way, except for those who were Congress voters, for Narendra Modi and been very instrumental. The other thing that I would like to say is that he did answer. He sailed very close to the wind. He was given a topic and he stayed with it. Now, of course, for those of us who are, like to watch political fireworks, there was almost nothing. But he did answer a little bit Rahul Gandhi's repeated references, not in Kalavati, to the Pradhans. Because he did talk about something quite important and innovative, I think, which was the 300 villages where all women, where the entire administration of the village is with women, and he has given those villages special status. And I think that was an extremely good example of the Sarpanch, the Pradhan is a woman, and how this has been given special status. So I think that apropos the debate, has he been stereotypical? Yes, in certain examples, definitely, about making a roti which is all fluffed, etc. But on the other hand, he did mention the adverse sex ratio. And I think one must recognize over here that 2011 census figures are alarming for large parts of the country, but also for Gujarat. I think it's 886 against the national figure of 914 or something. There is undernourishment, which he didn't touch upon. But on the whole, I would say image makeover is what I see. And I think, women respond to emotions. And I think that there was emotions there. But the sari sale wasn't such a good idea.
Okay, the sari sale wasn't such a good idea, but women respond emotionally. Are they responding positively or not? Atish Srivastav joins me from the FICCI function. Atish, before the speech began, there were huge queues. Women were very keen to get in. Did he strike a chord with them?
Well, he tried a lot, because through striking a chord with women, he has also showcases his development formula of Gujarat. He spoke more about what has happened in Gujarat and what he's done about women entrepreneurs and women organizations in Gujarat. So obviously, women who were listening to Narendra Modi, we haven't got the chance to speak to them. In fact, Narendra Modi is still sitting on the dais, is still interacting with FLO organization members. But the kind of response we got, the women entrepreneurs who were sitting and listening to Narendra Modi, they seems to be pretty satisfied with what he said, because it's about empowerment of women, and through that he did what he is best at, projecting Gujarat as the best and model state for everything, be it development, be it women empowerment, or be it making a most conducive atmosphere for women entrepreneurs.
Okay. Okay. Now, before I go to my other guest, Sanjay Jha from Mumbai, GVL Narasimha Rao with me here in the studio, also Javed Ansari, a political editor. Let's quickly listen in to Modi talking about two major issues that he focused on, as Nalini was saying. Female infanticide, that was a big issue. He spoke about the sex ratio. That's a major matter of concern. He spoke about that. He also gave examples of how women entrepreneurs have done so well in Gujarat, whether it's a Jasuben or the Lijjat Papad example and several others. Let's listen in.
हमें आधुनिक हिंदुस्तान बनाना है, उसकी पहली शर्त है हमारी मातृशक्ति का गौरव, मां बहनों की इज्जत, डिग्निटी ऑफ द वीमेन। समाज जीवन में स्थितियों को बदलना पड़ेगा। तो एक तरफ हम जो बुराइयों में फंसे हैं, उसको बड़ी कठोरता के साथ उससे मुक्ति के लिए हम सबको प्रयास करना होगा। व्यक्ति के नाते, परिवार के नाते, समाज के नाते, सरकार के नाते हम सबको करना पड़ेगा।
And once again, let me get back to Atish Srivastav, BJP spokesperson Meenakshi Lekhi joins us there. Atish, on social media, one question that several women have asked is, a man who left his wife, how can he be an expert on housewives and women-related issues? Just put that question to Meenakshi Lekhi and ask her if this is what is trending in a big way on social media. What is her response to it?
Well, Gaurav, unfortunately, Meenakshi Lekhi has just left us, but we've got Vicky's ladies organization members with us. We'll try and get the first reaction. How have they reacted on this statement made by Narendra Modi? Have you heard Narendra Modi? What is your first views on what he said about women empowerment?
See, Modi ji ka, I've been, very actively following his various speeches lately, and he has he at every point of time he's hit it right. I mean, कहाँ political बोलना है, अगर SRCC में जा रहे हैं तो कहाँ students के हिसाब से what they are looking for. And today's speech, the topic was unleash an entrepreneur within, and like probably other speakers या बाकी लोग जो हैं वो entrepreneurship पे शुरू हो जाते हैं, या ladies को ये करना चाहिए, वो करना चाहिए. But what he actually conveyed the message without really exactly using the word entrepreneur again and again, by giving real life examples from tribal area, from the poorest of poor women, from women like Gangaba and all that. So, he's got such a vast experience in women empowerment now for the last 10, 12 years. He's not only working politically, he's also, whatever he's doing. And, for a CM, I was really amazed at the number of policies which he was saying कि प्रयोग हमने एक छोटा सा प्रयोग किया, हमने छोटा सा प्रयोग किया. How many policies he actually remembers कि उन्होंने क्या क्या किया है? No, not very many people will probably remember कि अच्छा उन्होंने इतनी policy change किया या इतने experiment किया या इतने project शुरू किए हैं. He actually remembers them, and he's able to convey them to the right audience.
But do you think that this was an attempt by Narendra Modi to market his Gujarat rather than talking about what he can do now to empower women of all throughout the country?
I wouldn't say that. I'm from Ahmedabad and I'm a women entrepreneur, and the kind of security that Gujarat gives to women, no other state can give that kind of security. I come from a very conservative family, and thanks to Gujarat that I could study and do whatever I could.
The Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi spoke at FICCI Ladies Organization. He held forth on women empowerment, also on women entrepreneurs. He gave a number of examples of how women have done extremely well in Gujarat. He also spoke of Jasuben, her pizzas of Lijjat Papad. Also spoke about how they wanted to give reservation to women, but it's the Gujarat governor Kamla Beniwal who was actually stalling it. And let me quickly cut across to headlines today. Is Atish Srivastav joining me from FICCI? Is Atish Srivastav with her? Is Meenakshi Lekhi? Just put that question to her. Several people on social media are saying that there is a disconnect in what Modi preaches and what he actually practices, given his personal life, Atish.
Well, there will be enough criticism on Narendra Modi about this speech made, but we were speaking to lots of industrialists and entrepreneurs who were here. They have given a green signal of the entire agenda to Narendra Modi, and to discuss more, we have BJP spokesperson Meenakshi Lekhi. Meenakshi ji, on Twitter, on social media, what is been doing the round is that Narendra Modi comes here, talks about women empowerment, but leaves his own wife.
You know, these people need to be educated in law. There is section 19 of the Hindu Marriage Act which talks about repudiation of marriage and repudiation of a child marriage. Now, if they permit that children should be gotten married, then I think all these people who are talking on Twitter and other media are way beyond the adulthood, and I don't know how many of them have got married till now.
But lots of people are asking that he preaches something else, but he practically there is a lot of difference between what Narendra Modi does.
You know, it is unfortunate when somebody is talking about programs where 50% of reservations being given in local bodies and several other governance cells to women, and the governor of Gujarat is sitting over that bill for a very, very long time. It's an important bill. I think all these people should build pressure on the governor to allow that bill to be signed, which he's not. And apart from that, 300 villages, which is all women panchayats. Nobody's talking about that. Stamp duty, which has been removed in case women are buying properties. So several such things and algae cultivation to benefits to women, and these are things which have been done. Nobody is talking about it, and when they can't talk about his governance, they start attacking him personally. Shows their mindset.
But this question was also raised that he only spoke about what has been done, but he did not spell out the agenda, what can be done in the future.
I'm sorry, he in fact set the agenda for flow. Did you hear him when he talked about that? Please make a directory and a book, publish a book on the research-based document about the women entrepreneurs across the country, and let that model be copied. And he also talked about several small things which are being done, and he also opened the hall for any such advice in future, and will undertake and listen to you, and not just listen to you, but make our policies accordingly.
Women makes a very important vote bank for every city, every constituency. Do you think Narendra Modi was catering to his vote bank? Brand Modi was preparing himself for 2014.
Very unfortunate depiction in this fashion, because I think what he was talking about was the contribution of women and the people of Gujarat, which they have. And he also said that when men took a back seat, when women were contesting for panchayat, I said, please give credit to men who have chosen on purpose to take a back seat. And he talked about basically setting an agenda that how the importance of women cannot be negated in a country like India. In fact, our philosophy, culture, everything talks about women empowerment. We have essentially garnered to some negative thoughts. We must remove them and let women participate in day-to-day life and give them opportunities with security. They will perform better than men. That was the message I have taken.
Thank you very much. So Gaurav, this was Meenakshi Lekhi, who clearly said that there has been a message which has been sent across that you need to empower women and then move ahead to make the society better.
Okay. Of course, Narendra Modi getting a thumbs up from several women who were attending that FICCI ladies organization address of his, saying that he's talked about concrete steps that the Gujarat government has taken in terms of exempting that property that's owned by a woman or registered in her name from stamp duty, a woman's name being registered first when the children go for admission to schools, and several other small but psychologically important steps that Narendra Modi spoke of. Let's listen in to what the Gujarat Chief Minister said on women empowerment and Gujarat.
हमें आधुनिक हिंदुस्तान बनाना है, उसकी पहली शर्त है हमारी मातृशक्ति का गौरव, मां बहनों की इज्जत, डिग्निटी ऑफ द वीमेन। समाज जीवन में स्थितियों को बदलना पड़ेगा। एक तरफ हम जो बुराइयों में फंसे हैं, उसको बड़ी कठोरता के साथ उससे मुक्ति के लिए हम सबको प्रयास करना होगा। व्यक्ति के नाते, परिवार के नाते, समाज के नाते, सरकार के नाते हम सबको करना पड़ेगा। कभी कभी तो मुझे लगता है कि हम लोग 18th सेंचुरी से भी कभी कभी पीछे गए हैं, ऐसा व्यवहार करते हैं। कम से कम 18th सेंचुरी में बेटी को जन्म लेने का अवसर मिलता था, उसे सांस लेने के कुछ पल मिलते थे, उसकी जन्मदात्री मां को देखने का सौभाग्य मिलता था, पल दो पल क्यों न हो अपने रिश्तेदारों की ओर नजर करने का अवसर मिलता था, और बाद में उसको मौत के घाट उतार दिया जाता था। लेकिन आज 21वीं शताब्दी में मां के पेट में ही बेटी को मार दिया जाए, बेटी होने वाली इसलिए गर्भपात हो, और इस पाप को कराने में न पुरुष पीछे रहते हैं न मां पीछे रहती है। ये 18th सेंचुरी से भी हम पीछे गए हैं, इससे बड़ा सबूत क्या चाहिए? ये पीड़ा मेरे राज्य में भी है।
And there is a lot of criticism of what the Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi said and in the social media. And let me put that question to Nalini Singh. Nalini, what is being written here and by several women rights activists is that there is a major difference. There's a disconnect in what Modi preaches and what he actually practices when it comes to his personal life.
Yeah, you'd mentioned about this. You posed this question to the BJP spokesperson. I would not have anything to say about that. But there is another take. We are talking about Narendra Modi's marriage, where Rahul Gandhi that day said that the press asked me, "Boss, are you getting married? You're not getting married, etc." Now I just want to know from the press and from the Twitterati that are we selecting a son-in-law or are we selecting a prime minister? So I think we should come clean on that. Why are we doing this just to add spice? The second thing that I have to say is that I would have wanted the women and the women's minister, women child development minister Krishna Tirath,
yes,
to be here today, because why are we observing such segregation between one political party and another? Is it about women or is it not about women? And the third thing that I would say is that Naina Lal Kidwai, as the president of FICCI, struck another note, which was that the country at the moment is going through an alarming phase again, which is shrinking of the manufacturing sector, yes, shrinking of jobs. Now, this is something that I don't know if at the moment Narendra Modi would have addressed that, whether that was on his agenda or not, whether he has said that maybe this informal sector will absorb those who do not find jobs in the organized sector. This is a question mark that remains. But I think we should remember that now, as we proceed towards 2013/14 elections, we as people who are analyzing or those who are questioning or those who are remarking will have to rise above a lot of stuff, a lot of there are a lot of pits in the economy just now,
yes,
and we should also be looking at that and looking at questions of social justice. So please make up your mind whether it's a son-in-law you're selecting or a prime minister.
That's a very interesting
whether
take.
It's Modi or whether it's Rahul Gandhi.
A very interesting take. Is the country selecting a prime minister or a son-in-law? Of course, Narendra Modi today became a major brand ambassador for Jasuben's Pizza, and there is a lot of curiosity now in what Jasuben's Pizza is all about. And let me quickly cut across to Mosiki Acharya, who joins us for more. Mosiki, it's usually in the evening that we see huge crowds at Jasuben's Pizza, but I believe the crowds already there. At least the outdoor broadcast vans are already there.
Well, absolutely. The stall here, which is a roadside stall, is yet to open up. It closes. It opens around 5 in the evening. You see, this is the roadside stall. People park their cars on the road. They come here. Pizza Hut is very close by. But in spite of this, most of the people will still prefer Jasuben pizza here in Ahmedabad. I have a person with me. His name is Praveen. He runs a sandwich stall right next to Jasuben pizza stall. शाम को कितनी भीड़ होती है और कितने सालों से ये देख रहे हैं आप?
ये हम 40 वर्ष से चालू है मैडम। यहाँ पे शाम को इतनी भीड़ होती है कि ट्रैफिक भी लगी होती है। यहाँ पे फुल आप देख रहे हो, वहां से लगा के इस बाजू तक फुल भीड़ होती है यहाँ पे शाम को।
अच्छा, फेमस क्या है जसूबेन पिज्जा के बारे में? बड़े बड़े जायंट्स आ गए, पिज्जा हट है, डोमिनोज है अहमदाबाद में, पर क्या उससे जसूबेन को फर्क पड़ा है कभी?
कुछ भी आज तक फर्क नहीं पड़ा। जैसे कि हम पंचवटी आसपास में भी ब्रांच है, उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ा। जैसे कि जसूबेन का पहले रूटिंग चल रही है, ऐसे ही चल रही है।
Well, you see that this person who runs a sandwich stall right besides Jasuben Pizza,
Yes.
it opens only at 5 o'clock in the evening. There are no customers here. There's no one at the stall also here. But most of the OB vans, most of the camera crews of all the channels have arrived. As Narendra Modi pointed out, that like Kalavati, Jasuben Pizza will also become famous now. And he did succeed in taking the issue away. You know, he did not refer to malnutrition rates in Gujarat. He did not refer to the kind of how women were still not given education in places like Gujarat. Female feticide is another big issue right in Gujarat. He did not address several issues. Instead, he took the limelight away, and this has entirely now become Kalavati versus Jasuben. Jasuben is dead. She died several years ago. He also mentioned Induben Khakrawala. She also died several years ago. But yes, that entrepreneurship spirit in these women. Narendra Modi might not have anything to do with their enterprises here in Ahmedabad, but yes, he did manage to endorse them at a national level when he addressed that audience of women.
The Lijjat Papad, the Khakra and Jasuben's Pizza. Let's listen into Narendra Modi talking about how women have done so well, women entrepreneurs have done so extremely well in Gujarat.
अहमदाबाद में हमारे यहाँ एक जसूबेन के पिज़्ज़ा बहुत पॉपुलर है। जसूबेन के पिज़्ज़ा, और पिज़्ज़ा हट के बगल में अगर उसका आदमी स्टॉल लेकर के खड़ा है तो हमारे यहाँ पढ़ा लिखा नौजवान होगा तो भी जसूबेन के पिज़्ज़ा को हाथ लगाता है, उधर नहीं लगाता है। अब आज क्या होगा? मीडिया के लोग अहमदाबाद जाएंगे, वो ढूंढेंगे ये जसूबेन भी वो कलावती जैसा तो नहीं है। और इसलिए मैं कह दूं मीडिया के मित्रों को, उन जसूबेन का 5 साल पहले स्वर्गवास हो गया। आखिरी सांस उन्होंने पुणे में ली, लेकिन उस अकेली औरत ने, उस महिला ने अपने परिश्रम से, और जसूबेन को गए 5 साल हो गए, उसके बावजूद भी आज भी जसूबेन के पिज़्ज़ा बहुत बड़ा मार्केट कैप्चर करके चल रहे हैं।
And there is a war out there in the social media. Ruchika Tomar now joins me for more on this Twitter war and the top trend today. Ruchika, as we talk about Narendra Modi's address at Ficky Flow, is Feku, and then the second trend is Modi storms Ficky. So it's a war.
Absolutely, it's a war of the hashtags that we're witnessing on social media websites like Twitter, Gaurav. And as you yourself mentioned, Feku is trending above Modi storming Ficky. But clearly, we have people talking about the latest trends as well. Here we have somebody who's actually talking about how the Congress must have been really rattled because they faltered with the spelling of Feku. But apart from that, there are also those who are, of course, leading this social media campaign. People like Sanjay Jha, who are thanking Team Congress for the coronation of Mr. Narendra Modi with a title which he calls apt for him. Feku trending over other trends, and there are others who are obviously unimpressed by what Narendra Modi had to say. We have somebody here who's talking about how BJP supporters should feel sorry for themselves, because here is somebody who has reduced the Ma Behan of the country to somebody who makes chapatis and rotis and look at their husbands to acknowledge when they burn their hands while baking chapatis for them. But apart from that, we have people like Kiran Bedi as well, who has taken on to Twitter, and she's actually talking about how this is a missed opportunity. She heard about the initiatives that the Gujarat people have taken at the grassroots levels. But what about the big ideas that she found was missing from Narendra Modi's speech? And here's somebody, as you were talking to our guests about, that how people are talking about Jasuben's pizza and how Jasuben is the Kalavati of Narendra Modi. All the crowdsourcing suggestions here talk about Jasuben ka pizza, which is definitely worth a visit next time that anybody goes to Ahmedabad. Apart from that, there's a very interesting tweet on how people are actually saying that it's a good thing that now everybody is talking about political speeches that have been made, and it's going by the speeches that have been made in the corporate battleground, it appears that this time around it won't be identity politics, but what the PM aspirants promise to people that will take foreground.
Indeed, very interesting, this Twitter war. And let me go across to Sanjay Jha of hamaracongress.com. Sanjay, you've been extremely active on Twitter. Is FAKU your idea? It is the top trend worldwide.
Well, Gaurav, let me tell you, this is an idea which has emerged from the youngsters who are not paid, who are not orchestrated by some kind of a party design, who don't sit in offices over burning the midnight oil waiting to attack Rahul Gandhi. These are genuine volunteer professionals who actually have a passion for working for the Congress party and who want to actually hit out at anybody who's trying to divide the nation. I'm very glad with this FAKU, the coronation of Mr. Modi and his absolutely fictitious claims will now get international recognition. I would like to make a couple of very serious points here, Gaurav, because I know you will have to move on as well. Number one, the sex ratio in Gujarat has declined, and I think the world knows it. It is an absolutely, in my opinion, a pathetic attempt at being self-righteous that Mr. Modi actually comes to a women's conference and makes these big bombastic statements when he himself doesn't practice it in his own home state. I don't want to get into his wife, etc. That's a whole encyclopedic story as to where is his wife missing in action. How can a man who's ignored his own better half for years together, who lives in abject poverty and anonymity, actually come to a women's conference and talk about empowerment? He impoverished a woman and destroyed a private life. And this man has aspirations for leading India. Okay. Why does Sunita Williams not meet him? Why does the famous international astronaut Sunita Williams not meet him there? And last but not the least, the issue that I think we cannot ignore is the rapes of several women in the Gujarat riots of 2002, which still haven't been addressed. This is a much more serious issue. He's got a right to promote himself as a prime ministerial candidate for the elections. But let me tell you, you cannot dodge the country, and you should at least adhere to the basic principles of truth.
Okay, let me get GVL to respond to that. FAKU, as the Twitter says, are the toll claims made by Narendra Modi and the questions that Sanjay Jha just pointed out, GVL.
I think Sanjay Jha is laboring with a lot of attempt to say that a lot of these Twitter people who are criticizing Narendra Modi are natural critics. Let me inform audience that Congress party has a very orchestrated machinery which they have built over the last year with the sole purpose of attacking Mr. Narendra Modi. I think, and they are pumping in a lot of money, crores of money. They are also planning to use the government funds for doing this.
You may not know as enough.
They wanted to set up a social division, a social media division, only to take on Mr. Narendra Modi. The support that he enjoys among his supporters. I have not interrupted you, Sanjay. I think you please have the patience. I have not interrupted you when you made all kinds of vilifying comments against Mr. Modi. You have tried. The Congress party has tried to vilify Narendra Modi personally, and every time it came a cropper, and people, all such attempts have boomeranged on you electorally, and they will do so once again. And if you're trying to create this idea of a FAKU, you have tried this FAKU campaign in Gujarat, and people have FAKU'd you out of Gujarat. You have not been given an opportunity to come to power in Gujarat. Don't ever try this again. You will face the same consequences all over the country. So we have not called your campaign a faltu. So I think you should not be hitting below the belt, and we know how to hit back.
Okay, you've made your point. Javed, senior political editor Javed Ansari also with me. Sanjay, hold on for 30 seconds. Javed, while Narendra Modi addressed women's issues, he launched a stinging attack on the governor of Gujarat, where he said that 50% reservation in panchayats and Mahanagar Palikas. We cleared that bill, but it's hanging, it's being stalled by the governor herself.
Yeah, and that's the truth. There is more than an element of truth to that. We know that both of them are not great admirers of each other, and they've been trying to create problems for each other. But having said that, I want to say something on this business of Narendra Modi's wife. I don't think there ought to have been a reference to it, irrespective of what Sanjay Jha and my friend here, my colleague here on the panel would say. And there are no innocent parties here. I think Mr. Narendra Modi opened himself to such attacks. I do not condone such attacks. Let me clearly state that, but he opened himself to such attacks with references like the 50 crore girlfriend, or referring to Sonia Gandhi earlier in one of those elections as her only contribution being producing children. So, I mean, political parties and political leaders need to keep the level of discourse above a certain level, and they shouldn't lower the bar so much that, it brings the entire political system and the political fraternity into disrepute.
Okay. The takeaway from this Nalini Singh, he did speak about women empowerment and steps that had been taken in Gujarat that have been successful, and several women entrepreneurs there asked, can it be replicated elsewhere? They are already projecting him for a bigger role, it seems.
Well, he made the point again and again that participation in decision making is equal to empowering women. So he's actually giving a formula. He's saying, as has been mentioned earlier, about registration of property in women's names, about loans being given, about all the quake houses in the names of women. What he's actually saying is that empowerment doesn't come from Narendra Modi or the Prime Minister or Rahul Gandhi or whoever just saying that we will empower women. It actually comes from steps on the ground. And let me also tell you, Gaurav, that when people go to the ballot boxes to vote, they are going to look at who is delivering. And if there is somebody who is delivering, if there is good governance, if there is transparency, all this is going to be just these, these mirrors reflecting each other. Everything will be forgotten at the ballot box. You will go and say, my life becomes the life that I have aspired to if I vote for such and such party or such and such person. Okay. So let this go on. This is great entertainment, and it gives jobs to people like you and me. So why not we say that this goes on?
Indeed. Let me quickly go across to headlines today. Ashish Maharshi, he spoke to Nainalal Kidwai, and Nainalal Kidwai made a very important point about how the economy is shrinking, how jobs in the times to come could go out of the market, and it's extremely important to bring women on board to take the country forward. Let's listen in.
After Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi addressing CII, today it was the turn of Narendra Modi. The issue was women empowerment, and for us today, on Headlines Today, we have Nainalal Kidwai. Nainaji, you are the president of FICCI. We saw the political parties using chambers as a platform for political war. What's your opinion on today's speech?
I believe that at the end of the day, any agenda which is to do with industry is just that. It is to do with industry. And I really don't see the sessions that are being referred to as being of a political nature. If indeed you suggest that it is more a creation of the media. The fact that we need more leaders to speak from whichever platform to all constituencies, and particularly industry at all levels, is, I think, a message which is important. So FICCI, like any industry chamber, provides a platform for that interaction, and it should be used.
What is the difference? What is the difference you saw between Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi? Both are being projected as the prime ministerial candidate. Industry is in particular very interested in seeing the vision of both of them 2014. How do you see that?
So what we have had today is FICCI Flow, which is the ladies wing of FICCI, a very powerful wing which does excellent work across the country, working on issues to do with women in industry, women in entrepreneurship, women empowerment. And it was their AGM, and they had invited Mr. Modi to speak, and he shared absolutely on the subject areas in which he has worked and his beliefs on the role of women. And there were some excellent examples of what he has achieved in terms of women empowerment in Gujarat. Everything from property rights to the way women are participating, rural women as well, in terms of entrepreneurship.
But he chose the opportunity to counter Congress as well. Many of during his speeches, in the interaction with the women, he chose to target the Congress. How do you see that?
I think what he does with a sense of humor and to keep you all titillated, right? But the subject matter, you may pick the two lines that interest you. But what interested me was what was virtually an hour and a half in there on issues which are critical. The status of women in our country, the status of women for entrepreneurship, the status of women for industry. And if you lose that messages for us today, I would be very, very saddened, because this was not a political platform. It was a platform where he has shared with us his vision, and in that vision he has given us examples that are working. And I would like to believe that every state in our country can pick up these examples. I thought I knew, and I do a lot of work in livelihood creation in Gujarat personally through my husband. Even I learned about things that are happening in Gujarat which I was not aware. So
Nainalal Kidwai, President FICCI, they're aptly summing it up. It's not about a political speech. It wasn't about a Kalavati mention or a Governor Kamla Beniwal. It was all about women empowerment and initiatives being taken by the Gujarat government.